Sup, boys? So today I wanted to talk to you all about the Shadowlands delay. For those of you guys who don't know, Shadowlands, the expansion, got delayed. It's not coming out on October 26th, and instead it's coming out probably sometime later on in the year, somewhere in probably late November, early December range. I'm guessing, but that's pretty much where I would assume that it would end up at. So this announcement came yesterday as a huge shock to a lot of people, except for the ones that were actually playing the beta. If you had been playing the beta and you had looked at the way the systems worked, you'd looked at the way that the abilities interacted with each other, and you'd looked at just the general state of imbalance of the game, you could pretty well assume that they weren't even anywhere remotely close to being ready. And as much as, we'd all want to play the expansion earlier, myself absolutely included, I think it's most important for us to ask for a finished product. Now, the reason for that is because in Burning Crusade, this is exactly what happened. Blizzard said, you know what? We are not going to release the expansion for the holiday season of 2006, and we are going to delay it until 2007. It came out, I think, January 2007, because the expansion is just simply not up to our quality standards. And this is something that I think a lot of people obviously hear, and they think old Blizzard. This is what it used to always be. I mean, Blizzard games were not a meme or anything like that. Blizzard quality was not a joke. It was a reality. It was a standard, and it was an industry standard. Blizzard made the highest quality games, and I think Burning Crusade is a great example of that. So is Shadowlands, with this extra time, is Shadowlands going to basically turn into Burning Crusade with a couple of extra, maybe months of development? No, of course not, but it will be better. And I think that's really where I think a lot of people need to look at it from. This is not going to just perfectly fix the expansion. They're not going to fix all the problems in this extended development time. But what they will do is they will make the expansion better than what it would have been on October 26th. And I think that's the main thing that a lot of you guys are probably looking forward to seeing. I think that in BFA, I was hoping a lot for the expansion to just come out. And I thought to myself, well, maybe the best thing to do is for the expansion to just be released, and then as soon as it's released, people can play it. And if it's buggy, it's still going to be better than just playing Legion for the next, 2 or 3 months. I was wrong. And I think I underestimated the importance of first impression. And there are so many players that play WoW who are going to go through the leveling experience, and they might not even fully finish that in the first month or so because they play very casually, or they just do other things besides leveling immediately whenever they play the expansion itself. So, whenever you look at those people and you see how many of them there are, it's so important for these people to have a good experience. And a lot of these guys are not just exclusive WoW players like many of us are. We don't, they don't really think about, they don't basically, they don't think about the time in their lives and categorize it by what expansion was out at that time. These are just normal people who, they play WoW, then they go and they play Cyberpunk, like whenever that comes out, and then they look forward to the next game. These are just transient gamers, and while they're invested in the game, it's nothing like the way that you or I are if we've been playing the game for 15 years. So it's very important for Blizzard to make sure that those transient players have the opportunity to get hooked. And the problem with an expansion that's very buggy and dysfunctional and unfair with the Covenant abilities, for example, is that that's going to really be a huge barrier for those people to get into the game and really enjoy it. And I think that Blizzard is absolutely making the right decision by delaying this game to make sure that that polish is actually in the game. Blizzard recently, over the past few years, I think that we all know this, right? With the Hong Kong stuff, the Diablo Immortal, Warcraft Reforged. Those are the first three that I can come up right off the top of my head. These have been massive PR debacles. They have just made Blizzard look like shit. For one reason or another, they've made Blizzard look like shit. So they really don't need to have another thing that makes them look like shit. And World of Warcraft is always going to be, to some degree, like Blizzard's flagship product. If you think Blizzard, you're probably going to think World of Warcraft. Some people think Overwatch nowadays, but for the most part, this is the game that really defines their brand. So if they release a product for that game that's dysfunctional or bad, I think that it really speaks a large volume about the company itself. There's been a lot of doubts with Blizzard in general, and so seeing something like this happen does really kind of give me a little bit more confidence in the company to make the right decisions by the players. Obviously, you know, it's not the right decision in the short term for making profit, but I think that in the long term, almost anybody who really cares about having a strong and a solid investment cares about making sure that you're developing a good product. Making short-term gains and then in the end disappointing your customers and making them unhappy and creating basically McDonald's content is not really a longevity strategy. This is like just a pump and dump strategy, and I think a lot of us are very invested in this game. You know, I'm not really monetarily invested in Blizzard, but I'm very emotionally invested. Yo, is that a wasp? Fuck, man, I'm scared now. Okay, well, anyway, so I do think this is a very, very good. Man, I hate wasps, dude. Like, do you guys hear that buzzing? Oh my god, I'm freaking out right now. So, anyway, this is obviously a very good decision that Blizzard is making. I'm very happy they're making this decision, and overall, I think that I think the expansion will be better off because of it. I do want to say though, there are of course some people that don't really have the opportunity to play it as much now because they had off time, they maybe had time off of work or something during that period of time whenever the expansion was going to get released, and they had already planned this out, and now their plans are kind of fucked up. That sucks. It really does. It absolutely does suck. But I think that having the game be in a better state overall is the most important thing. And at the end of the day, I remember whenever like Mists of Pandaria came out, whenever I was in college and I was like working at the IRS, I remember I was very happy to always come home from work and or come home from school and be excited to play the game. And I'd kind of rather come home and be excited to play a game than spend all day at home with a game that I don't like to play. Because really, I think there's a lot of us right now that are doing that already. So the fact is, guys, I think this is a great decision by Blizzard. I fully support their decision, and I really hope it makes the game better. I wanted to make a video about this because obviously I've been a big proponent about the delay, and ultimately the reason for that is because I've talked to a lot of the people, as I said, who have played the beta, who have played even the alpha too, and the game is just in an unfinished state. And it's just going to be horrible for Blizzard if they release the game in that unfinished state. It'll hurt so much and kill so much goodwill that people have towards the company and towards the game, that for every single time that this expansion happens or a bad expansion happens, you do actually lose people. You know, there's always the meme that nobody ever quits. There are actually people that do quit. And whenever that happens, sometimes it's really hard to get those people back. So ultimately, I just hope that this is the right decision by Blizzard, and I think that it is, based off of, as I said, my experience playing the beta and many other people's experience playing it much more than I have. So obviously, really fucking sucks for anybody that took time off. Like that's all there is to it. Just sucks. And other than that, great decision by Blizzard, and makes me much more confident in the actual Shadowlands release and Blizzard's commitment to developing a quality product rather than just pushing quarterly profits. So anyway, guys, I just want to make a quick video and talk about this for a few minutes because I know a lot of people have asked me about it, and I talked about it a little bit on my stream, but I wanted to give you all my personal thoughts and why I think it's such an important thing and why I think it could be a precursor for an actual good expansion. Now, it's a long way to go, especially in terms of design and philosophy decisions, but this is a great first step, and it's not really even the first step. It's probably the third or fourth step. Blizzard's made a lot of really good decisions with Shadowlands, and, you know, obviously sometimes those get overshadowed by the Covenant choices that they're making or the Conduit choices they're making. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but there have been a number of other great things that they have done, and I don't want that to take away from it at all. So I hope this can just be another one of those good decisions, and it can make the expansion better and really give all those new players that great first impression that I think they deserve. So anyway, guys, pretty much all I got. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll be curious to hear the comments, but I wanted to make a quick video and talk about the subject in general. And till next time, peace.